Am I the a-hole for not waking up early and helping my mother-in-law with chores? I, F25, has been married for a year now. It is customary in our culture that women stay with their in-laws after marriage. I didn't subscribe to this and told my husband, then boyfriend, before marriage itself that I want to live separately. He agreed, since he himself wanted to live away from parents and build his own life. But as a compromise, we would still visit them and stay at their place every couple of months. It is again customary, Dill helps mother-in-law with household tasks, the stench of patriarchy. In our house, that is mine and husband's, we are equals. We do chores together. In in-law's place, it's always his mom who does majority of chores. She was a som too. When I am visiting I am expected to help her with the chores. Not my husband, just me. I just rope him in as well. The major issue is that everyone there wakes up at 5:36 am. That's way too early for me even on days when I have work. Since we go there on my off days, I just want to sleep in. At till 8 to 9 am initially they didn't say much about this. Just a bit of snide comments that I let go. Choose my own battles and all. But today morning my mother-in-law made a big show of how I never help her with chores. Let me clarify, she wakes at 6 am and finishes most tasks by 9 am. By the time I am awake, it's all done. I help prep, but that doesn't count to her. The fact I don't slave away in kitchen is making her mad. When she went on a whole woe on me act, my husband, who normally supports me, also got mad at me. He asked why I couldn't wake up few days out of a month earlier than I want to and help his mom. When I said, he can help his mom himself since he wakes up anyway, he said that's not the point. He said he doesn't ask much of me and this is least I can do. Respect his parents when we are staying under their roof. I got mad and told him, I don't want to stay under their roof and neither do I have to. With that I just packed my bags and left that place. Now my parents and husband are blasting my phone for overreacting. Am I the a-hole? Cause I see a lot of comments asking me to help my mother-in-law, no one has anywhere to be. It's literally the weekend. There is no requirement for things to be done by that time. Other than the fact it is how we do here. And I help her meal prep. Cut veggies and everything the night before. I clean the house too, roping in my husband as well, though we literally visit for 2 days. Also to people who commented I shouldn't go then, my initial agreement, before marriage with them and my husband was that I wouldn't go. I work full-time in a different city. I want to relax on weekends. They kept calling, begging and guilt-tripping. I finally agreed to visit. As in 1 weekend a month. We go there Friday after office and return Sunday night. That's literally the entire weekend and duration of stay. If I wasn't there, I would be sleeping until 12 noon of after. Husband knows this well. Because I respect his home I am getting at 8 to 9. It feels like yet another working day to me. Getting at 6 am is like overtime on an already hectic 12-day week. To all who are guessing, yes, I am Indian. From Kerala to be precise. And yeah, I know many other cultures have this in common. Reading each of your stories makes me sadder and braver at the same time. To everyone who is saying you know what you married into. Now do as they want, a bit of backstory. I am from the same culture they are. I grew up seeing my mom work harder hours than my dad, get home later and using crowded public transport while my dad used own vehicle, and then make tea for him. It sounds very simple, a tea right? It's not. It's coming on struggling in public transport and as soon as you reach having to go make tea for a man who has reached home from his job 10 minutes away in own vehicle. Make him tea and dinner while he watched TV. I know the fight she fought and fate she accepted. I know even after 30 years of marriage she is upset he won't make her a cup of coffee. Not cause he doesn't know how to. Cause that's not how it is done. Sad for her my grandma also lives with her. I have seen every aspect of toxic patriarchy and how it influences the life of a woman. I had front seat view of I may. I decided early on in life I don't want to get married. Then comes my DH. He was a friend of mine who grew up in a family deeply rooted in patriarchy too. His mom was Som, despite having higher degree than his dad. She couldn't work cause they relocated every few years for his work. DH used to tell me fond memory where his dad took him to work on Sunday. He didn't realize it was cause his mom was exhausted and needed a break, until I pointed it out. He saw patriarchy and its effects only after he met me. It was slow growth, but he did grow. I told him point blank I don't want to marry. Cause marriage law sucks. And the expectations from a girlfriend is widely different than wife. He wanted to marry me, for fear of losing me. His parents wanted me to marry him for fear of him losing me and breaking down on that. My parents wanted to marry me off-citing reasons such as needing to see my marriage before they die. And while I don't like that emotional blackmailing, I knew if I refused and God forbid something happened to either of them, I would hate myself for the rest of my life. Before marriage I made it clear to everyone I refused to be a traditional wife and Dill. I will be an equal partner to DH. That's it. They all agreed to this, hence why I got married. Rest of the begging to visit and expectations of work came after the marriage. Bait and switch mode. Maybe they thought I would agree to everything once I married him. I did compromise, so he gets a good relationship with his parents. I help out at their house. But going to this extreme is in complete violation of our agreement. Yes. My culture demands a lot from Dill and I am getting the best possible deal. But, more importantly, I didn't subscribe to this culture. I told them already I refused to. They accepted it. And now they want me to succumb to it. Am I the a-hole for not waking up early and helping my mother-in-law with chores? My husband came home yesterday. He just hugged me for a long while, whispering sorry in my ears. When he pulled back I could see tears in his eyes. It melted any anger I had. And then he told me what happened. The day before the argument, we had traveled from my place to his 9-hour journey and reached after 1 a.m. My husband woke at 7:30 a.m. and found both his parents cooking instead of just mom. Surprised, he inquired about it and mom said it was cause they had invited his family from both sides to celebrate Onam with us. They were preparing food for Sadhya. They have never done this before. He asked why they didn't let us know this was the plan. They said it was obvious. DH joined in to help. At this point, his mom started complaining about me. He told her we got here late and I was exhausted. She went on how that don't matter and normal dills would still work. He was trying to shrug it off as much as possible. By the time I was up, cooking was well underway. When I saw them in kitchen, I was surprised and asked something along the lines of "It isn't finished yet," referring to breakfast having no clue about Sadhya. She started about how it will be finished since she has no help and how unlucky it is to have another women in the house who don't lift a finger to help. I told her we got in late and I just woke up. She said it doesn't matter and how a loving Dill would wake up early anyways. How she wishes my brother-in-law at least has enough sense to bring in someone better. That was the last straw for DH. He asked me why I couldn't get up earlier for 2 days while we visit them. That's when everything escalated and I ended up leaving. He couldn't leave after me, cause of invited guests. He couldn't get hold of me on phone and hence called my mom. Cue my parents calling me about overreacting. He apologized for everything. He cannot imagine losing me and told his parents as much when he left. I told him I had no idea about Sadhya plans or guests coming and apologized for not staying to discuss it. I also expressed how Roof comment was disrespectful, especially when I was invited. He apologized. I accept his apology but has made it clear it can't be this way anymore. I showed him the post and all the replies. He apologized again. I told him I have nothing against them. I just don't want to work on my weekends. Taking advice from the comments, I suggested getting a maid if they need help. He said they don't need help. They just want me specifically to help. And that he realizes it's wrong and promised to stand up for me more. From now on we won't be staying overnight at their place. Just lunch or dinner visit. Though preferably outside on neutral grounds or trips. Hopefully it goes well.